Gentlemen, we're back.
Yes, all three.
All three of
Are
us
the
are
Bruins tired?
No.
Oh.
Brutal loss against the Detroit Red Wings, even though they beat them the day before.
Mhm.
A loss to the bottom-dwelling Chicago Blackhawks. Are they cooked? Is this the beginning of the end, the slide for the Boston Bruins?
We have to ask the question, you know? We ask the question every year. We're never right.
That's all we
But-
have to ask as journalists. We're taught to ask questions.
Yeah.
Good questions,
exactly.
bad questions.
Stupid questions.
Video game questions. We don't know.
What's a video game question?
You remember with with Nathan McKinnon?
Huh?
Was it with Nathan? Remember the video game one? And then
No.
it went nowhere.
I have no idea what you're talking
And
about.
then he just the journalist was like just F it.
Oh, when was that not Adrian Dater? Who was it? Yeah, the game. Oh, I thought you meant video game. No, the game. Yeah, you're a gamer and you just
that one.
Yes. Sorry,
man, all
that's
time.
Adrian Dater.
Oh, it was Dater, and then they
Yeah.
won the cup after that. The year after, but
The
then they
year
won the
after.
cup. So he was a gamer.
He
That was a bad one. What's a worse question, that or the Matheson? Why are you so pissy, Leon?
No, the McKinnon question.
Okay.
Because it was so long-winded. It felt like such a
Wait. Which was more uncomfortable?
Okay.
Ooh.
I think the why are you so pissy one, because that was a bit more of like a personal one. That was, there was no journalistic objectivity there.
No, there wasn't.
That one felt uncalled for.
Oh, well, 100%. And then the writers defended Matheson. It was like that goes against everything we're taught as journalists. Like, anyway, that's a question for another day. But.
It was so funny because there's like 5 Jim Matheson Twitter accounts, and no one really knows which one's real or which one's fake. And so I think some people, some journalists were like quote tweeting the fake Jim Matheson.
Not surprised about that.
One real Jim Matheson and 4 burners. I don't know.
Yeah, but literally like. They're all the same. Remember a newspaper in Finland, I want to say, reached out to a fake Jim Matheson account to ask about Mikko Koskinen.
And they
just went with it, and it was like, but they're talking about like fast food, like it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous,
and that. Young men and women and well, I don't think you can say that anymore. And that's why anyone listening at home that's an aspiring journalist, that is why you do not do email or over text interviews.
Yeah.
They
taught us that too. It's like, if you can, don't send your questions and get them answered. Don't do it.
No, don't. Anyway, so we should go into the show here. We should get going.
Can I just say something before we get into the hockey?
Sure.
Disaster start for Ferrari.
Alex, we don't need to get into the line.
I just wanted to
at least do this when we record on a Sunday when it's like a race day. What is this?
Well, did you not see the news?
Yeah, that Leclerc is getting a grid penalty for Abu Dhabi.
He's had one race.
Just to let listeners know, by the way, this is a Wednesday. We are recording on a Wednesday. Not sure when you are listening to this.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you may be listening, is it an engine thing?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, because they were talking about that before or after race 1, and then he met with the head of Ferrari, and it's worrying, man. I'm concerned as a Ferrari fan. I'm very, very concerned. Probably not as concerned as Carolina Hurricanes fans are right now.
Oh,
the transition.
That's
straight guys. Class. Thank you. Svechnikov, arguably probably their most talented, if not probably top 2 offensive players, out for the year officially. They were getting a second opinion on the injury. What does this mean? Not just for Alex's fantasy team, but for the Carolina Hurricanes.
This is really bad because we already talked about how we just needed them to keep improving the offense. They didn't do much at the deadline, and now, arguably their best offensive player is out for the season with a knee injury. So I think they're still going to be a good team, but I don't know. It just this is already like a huge hurdle now of how are you going to improve on last year, and I don't see any improvement from last year now at this point.
Yeah, and I think if you look at what the issues have been in years past, it's been their scoring. We know they've had good goaltending. Now, that being said, like their goaltending it's not bad. It's just Anderson and Ranta, you never know. At least you have Kochetkov behind, so that's always a plus in that sense. Their defense is one of the best defensive cores in the league. We have this conversation every year. It was their scoring that really I want to say screwed them, but like in a way held them back a little bit. And they didn't, like you said, Daniel, they didn't do anything at the deadline. They're now down Svechnikov. They're already down Pacioretty. And the only forward move that they really made was Jesse Puljujarvi, who good player, not a scorer. He's not the scoring depth that they needed to go get. So right now they have the top spot in the Metro. I don't know if they're going to finish there. They're going to have a tough challenge against the Rangers if that's the case.
So it is, I believe, what is it, to surgically repair his MCL? It has ACL, sorry, ACL. So if you're thinking maybe there's a chance he can come back for a late playoff, I don't think that's going to happen. It's not even just that. Okay, the hole is going to be filled by Jesse Puljujarvi. It is, to be fair, not Jacob Chikrin, sorry, Shane Goss is there, but even he, as a talented as an offensive defenseman he is, that's still not gonna. Those two together are very, offensively challenged. Jesse Puljujarvi. Who's Chikrin gonna? I keep saying Chikrin. Who is Goss's Bear gonna pass that puck to? Because even if he gives it to Puljujarvi on the play, he's not gonna. Kotkaniemi's offense is really starting to pick up as the year has gone on. But is he going to be the guy who really leads you all the way? Maybe, I don't know. He is a good playoff performer, but it's just the level of Svechnikov as an offensive player just felt like such a step above everyone else on that team. With respect to Sebastian Aho as well, Habs legend.
Yeah,
he's coming back. Don't worry. But it's just it's again going back to, and Alex was so honest at the deadline that they needed to go out, and it's so funny. Tom Dundon talking about they were going to be so aggressive at the deadline, and they didn't get the one biggest need when everyone around them in that division and the conference went out and got super weapons, and it felt like they bought a submarine from Canada. You know what I mean? That's, if you don't understand, the Canadian Navy is,
not great.
We got, what is it? We got broken submarines from the British, and one's in the West Edmonton Mall. That's the point. That's where the Carolina Hurricanes are right now.
You brought up Aho. I feel like we should also mention Martin Nakash, who's literally leading the team in scoring this year with 61 points in 66 games, has 25 goals this year, which is, funny enough, is two more than Svechnikov had this year.
Really?
Yeah. And so
should know that.
The thing with the Hurricanes is yes, they're down Andrei Svechnikov. Yes, they didn't really make a scoring addition in the at the deadline. Sorry. I still think they're in a really good position though, right? I don't think this is doomsday. I don't think they're in a situation where this is the end. I think they're the one team in the East who literally didn't spend everything they had. And I'm not trying to say just next year. The reality is they're going to be one of the top teams in the Metro next year. Right? That's the other thing too, is I don't think they're in the worst situation.
It's to point out too that, Tero Teravainen too, a lot of injuries there. Hasn't been super consistent.
They're a dichotomy, though. If you look at the Hurricanes right now, they're a dichotomy to the New York Rangers, right? Defense for the Rangers, big concern. I'd say Carolina in the playoffs will grind you. The Rangers will kill you. The Rangers have the leg up in goaltending. I don't think anyone wants to face it, despite his down year statistically. No one wants to play Shesterkin in the first round, or period. No one wants, except maybe Tampa. They're the only ones comfortable in doing that. But it's really just, is that defense going to be enough to hold off the Rangers? And is their scoring power right now enough to get by Shesterkin? I think that's the big question you have, at least in the first round series. Who knows even if the Devils or who they play in the second round if they get past the Rangers. I think that's the big question you have to ask is the formula right for them to get past the Rangers? Now, if it's a wild card team and it's Pittsburgh or whoever again, and we can look at the wild card later, not a problem. But I think the worst case scenario is if they fall into a divisional spot. I don't think they would want to do that because you know what? I don't think I would like them against the Rangers in the series.
Well, I would say that their defense is good enough to stop the Rangers. They're one of the best defensive cores in the league. That right? Like we've been saying this for years. The way they play, maybe they don't have the best players, but the way they play allows them to shut down some of the best offenses in the league. But I would say I don't think they have the firepower to get past Shesterkin comfortably. So that's going to be I think that's going to be the real challenge here.
Are we going to see a lot of 2-1, 3-2 games? I don't know. Maybe.
Well, if you want a blueprint of how a Rangers Hurricane series can go, turn back the clock. What was it, second round last year? Because it was Pittsburgh. I think it was Pittsburgh round one, or was it Carolina then Pittsburgh? But they did play the Hurricanes, if memory serves, and they did win.
Yeah, because the Penguins, they haven't gone out of the first round in a while.
Now, people did point out the Rangers never play the number one goaltender, which I think is kind of BS. But I mean, that's the risk.
Didn't play the number one goal. The Rangers.
The Rangers never play the number one goalie because obviously Pittsburgh got folded, and then Kochetkov came in. But then again, that's the risk the Hurricanes go with that goaltending.
Didn't they play Andrei Vasilevsky?
And then someone would say, and then that's who they lost to. But
okay. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm saying it's BS. That's kind of like when Montreal made the final. It was like, every 1C on the other team was out. It's like, that's okay. Chandler Stevenson, sure.
They lost. Yeah, they lost in 7 to the Rangers last year in the second round.
I will give credit though, as you mentioned, the way they play. They do have the better coach with Carolina in that series.
Yeah,
Rod Brindamore, Rod the Bot.
Wow, you can do it to my boy.
Gerard Gallant? I mean,
we're all still waiting for him to make his way to Detroit. So.
I mean, hey. Man, and what is Jared Lalonde a good coach? Do we know that yet?
Middle of the pack. I'll call him middle of the pack because
I don't know, guys. I don't know. He did get votes. He did get votes in the Jack Adams on NHL.com.
John Cooper didn't.
So
going back to that discussion, we'll see what happens. NHL.com. You love to see them. Connor McDavid has hit a milestone last night. Went up to 129 points on the year. That is the highest single season point total amongst active skaters. Yes, we still have about a month left in the season, and he has already passed Nikita Kucherov's point total from his Hart season.
So he's going to hit 150.
Yeah, I hope so. And by the way,
he's the heart of the team.
Yeah. You know what? I think so. Draisaitl hit 100 points. I think Draisaitl is a much more emotional person. I don't think anyone would debate that. No offense to McDavid, but what's like something that you can't live without, but it's not your heart? The lungs, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think, the brain. Is he the brain of the team, or if that's kind of like your head coach, or if you had Bergeron, he'd be the sort of brain of the team. But I don't know.
Nervous system.
Why not? Like that's what he is. I mean, he's the most important piece. Now, what's more important, your heart or your brain? I'll let you try and debate that. But he's the best player in the league. Like let's not get into semantics here. Just like we talk about Boston every week. I mean, like how good they are.
Yeah.
But McDavid.
Can I just say, if Connor with the way he's playing, if Connor McDavid is not unanimously voted for the Hart, like we have a serious problem. We need to sit down and have a discussion. Like, what are we doing?
They shouldn't, though, because the Hart's voted by the media.
Yeah,
those media members should have their media rights privileges like taken away.
They need
If
to
anyone
write
does not put him
they
first.
they need to write a 1,000-word article explaining why they chose the player they chose if it's not
And
Connor McDavid.
why is it someone from New Jersey saying Jack Hughes?
Yeah.
Just you wait. That's what I always hear about Jack Hughes. I mean, great player, but that's
I
how
mean,
it's
I mean, he's been
hold on,
there.
hold on.
Whoa,
This
whoa,
year,
whoa,
what are you talking
whoa,
about? He can be the first
whoa,
Devils player to ever hit 100 points. Have some respect. He came this year.
I am
He was
having
good
respect
last
for him.
year.
I'm saying, yeah, but you said on the Devils. I'm saying not in league wide.
Okay, I was about to say,
No,
like,
I
I
don't
was about to
know.
be like, Daniel, I saw some stank towards
How
Jack
dare
Hughes.
you make me compare him to Patrick Elias? I'm joking.
No, I mean, it's hard to be like, how good was Elias offensively if he was on a team that,
They didn't play
you
the
know,
trap
that
system.
that wasn't the Devils back in the day. Always one of the biggest. It's really wild how no one ever talks about Patrick Elias. It's
Mm,
actually, it's a little insulting to him.
Hall of Famer? Yeah, I think he's a Hall of Famer.
Elias, I'd agree with you
Yeah.
there. Yeah, 100%. Is he the Devils' all-time leading scorer?
No, that's a good
That's a
one.
good question. I'm gonna look that up.
It's like one of the longest tenured ones because like they had stars there, but not a lot of guys stayed as long or weren't drafted there like Aliash.
Sorry, points or
He is the
goals?
all-time goal leader and point leader.
Okay, who's second?
Hold on a minute, because I'm just looking at this. Oh, it's not. Why is it not coming up like this? Stall.
No, John McClain.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Travis Sajak is third. Yo.
That's
Hold on.
wild.
Hold on. This is the top 10 all-time leading scorers in the history of the New Jersey Devils. 10th at 410 is Zach Parise. That's kind of funny. 9 is Scott Stevens with 430. Aaron Broten? Maybe he's French. 469. 472 is Bobby Halik. Scott Niedermeyer, 476. So you already have two defensemen. That's pretty funny. Scott Gomez is fifth with 484. Oh, that hurts. Kirk Muller at 520. Travis Sajak at 550. John McLean at 701. And Patrick Elias at 1025. If you're not old enough, now even the three of us are a little bit young to obviously remember the dead puck era.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want proof of how do we put this, our offensively starved the Devils were back in the day, or I don't know if it's starved because it was probably voluntary. Put up the fact that they've been around as long as they have, and they have two players above 700 points in their history.
You know what's crazy about that list? I know that we're gonna get off this topic soon, but you know what is crazy about that?
What?
Everybody, with the exception of Scott Stevens on that list, was drafted by Lou Lamoriello.
he's been around. He's been around. Kind of like how if we look at Nashville, everyone there is drafted by David Boyle.
Yeah.
That's going to be really funny. By the way, if we want to know goals, only four players in Devils, four players in the history of New Jersey have more than 200 goals. Now, Parise was 6 short during his time, but it's Sajak Holik at 202, McLean at 347, and Elias at 408.
Oh, can I ask you guys a question?
Sure.
Adam, don't scroll through this list.
Okay.
Where do you think, after 229 games played, where does Jack Hughes rank on this list?
Oh,
is he top 10?
No.
Oh, sorry, this is games played?
No, this is points.
Oh,
I'll say
points.
12th.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I only see up to 10, so I'm not cheating for points. I think he has to be top 15. Has to be by now.
Jack Hughes.
Yes.
No, not even.
Oh, okay. Where is
He's
he?
41st.
Oh, okay.
But he's still pretty
Not even
up there.
close.
No, but I mean, like, considering he's been
Yeah.
in the league for 4 seasons,
How many points?
188.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
so not dissuading, because I agree
15.
that I think he will continue to blossom into a star. Will Jack Hughes become the all-time leading scorer of the New Jersey Devils?
it's
Oh, yeah.
possible. The way it's
100%.
going.
Well, he's already signed an extension, right? So
Yeah.
He will at least finish top 10, and he will do it in 2 years.
Yeah.
He'll be top 2 without a question. Without a question. It's just, does he play long enough and is he healthy enough to pass Elias? If scoring keeps going up the way it is, 100%. You lock up Timo Meyer, you lock in, you put those two together. Or, you send him to Montreal, him and Cole Caulfield, and then this is how it goes. So the GM meetings are happening right now, and there's a bit of news that came out this morning that I would like to touch on with you, gentlemen. First off, the draft lottery happened. Oh, no, it has not happened. Otherwise, we would have so many of it. But we do have a date. The NHL draft lottery has been set. This is from Chris Johnson, Crypto Bro, for May 8th at 7 p.m. Again, May 8th, 7 p.m.
See you there. Online, probably.
Yeah,
I'll be
probably.
watching.
What day of the week is that? Please
That's a
be
Monday.
Saturday.
That's a
Ah,
Monday.
why? What are you doing?
It's okay.
This
We don't
is-
know our summer plans yet.
This is the biggest draft lottery since Connor McDavid, and you're putting it on a Monday? I'm not even surprised actually.
I mean, it works. Like, no one, like, who really goes out on a Monday?
Lord.
No one wants to, but it's still like it's a Monday.
But who's gonna?
That's how they're gonna get the
like what?
views.
Are you suggesting that they're gonna go? People are gonna go watch this at like a bar or something?
100%.
I've done it.
The draft lottery.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
done it.
100%. Remember the scenes in Toronto when they won?
Yeah, I remember that. Or like everyone
Yeah.
was cheering.
The
I
bars were
don't
going nuts.
remember anyone being at a bar.
Yeah, no, there were videos of it.
That's
It
wild.
wasn't. It
That's
was not
so
the
extra.
fake one where there's that one in England and everyone makes
No,
a
no,
meme out of it.
yeah. No,
I
no,
love
I know that
That's
one.
like my
That's
not
favorite
that.
edit.
That's a
Yeah,
good-
yeah.
But no, it was a big deal, and for this guy, definitely. Like, especially
that
if
seems so extra though.
if a real market wins it. I mean, to be fair, we've live streamed our
No, but
reactions
that's
to it.
different. But that's okay. But we're talking about going to a bar for a thing that's going to be a literal hour.
You know, I'm always gonna laugh about
How-
that draft lottery, by the way, that we did.
But
Because we
Oh,
had
that's
Mike.
shit.
We had Mike on. I'm always gonna laugh where he was working while we were doing it, and then he got up for like 5-10 minutes at a time, and then he would just come back and then continue the conversation.
just, I remember the fact that I was screaming Shane Wright and how poorly that aged. Other stuff coming out. We have some nuggets about the salary cap. So earlier in the day,
Ooh.
here we go. Earlier in the day, Eric Engels was basically saying that he was told by Brad Treliving, GM of the Flames, that GMs were planning for a $1 million raise in the salary cap. Now, here's a pair of tweets from the man, the myth, the legend, Elliot Freeman. With GMs indicating they are expecting cap to only go up $1 million, Commissioner Gary Bettman leaves open the window for conversation with NHLPA to possibly raise it higher. Players negotiated a 6% escrow cap over the last 3 seasons of the current CBA. That's great for them. Probably a big stumbling block for the league. Now, obviously, for anyone who's not aware, a new head of the PA is coming in soon. Mr. Marty Walsh, no relation to Allen. Listen, we all know that if they are negotiating something, it's going to be a carrot to take away from the players. So this is what I'm going to tell people. If you guys disagree, go ahead. The cap's not going to go up more than $1 million. I don't. If that feels like Gary almost saying, I'm leaving it open, and if it doesn't happen, it's on the players of Marty Walsh. If the GMs are planning for $1 million, then I will be anticipating $1 million in the cap going.
Okay, Daniel, I will let you go. Just give me 1 second.
Okay. There's already those proposals that we've had before of it's gonna consistently go up. So it's just weird to me that it's just okay, yeah, like if this doesn't happen, it's not on Gary Bettman or anything, but it's more so like we looked at the market again and we saw that it was not as feasible, or I don't know, like how long can we keep giving like the COVID excuse that because of the lost revenue, we're not going to be able to push and make this as feasible as we want in terms of increasing the cap. So I guess I'm being in the middle ground of let's wait and see, but I don't know. I didn't think that we were going to see a huge jump from this.
Can I just say, if we have anything, okay, let me restart my sentence. Sorry. If we have a cap increase of only $1 million, that is an abject failure from the NHL and the PA, to be honest. Like, you cannot, again, Daniel, spot on. How long can you use the COVID excuse? You guys can figure this out. You guys are big boys. Like, you make the big bucks. Let's sit down at the table. It is in everyone's interest to have the cap go up by more than $1 million this year. It's just a fact. From the player side, you get some more money. From the NHL side, it's, hey, like, we can actually have our teams do things instead of we're asking for creativity 100% from general managers, but this is getting to a point that's beyond ridiculous. That we're praising teams for being a dollar below the salary cap. Do you know how insane that is? What other league works like this? What other league do you praise general managers and their assistants for being a dollar under the salary cap? Good job, Jim Rutherford and Patrick Alvin. You guys were just below the salary cap. Julian Brisebois, man, you're a legend because you were able to get a literal dollar under the salary cap. If I understand the situation that's going on, but if you cannot figure out a way to do this, the NHL and NHLPA should be sorely ashamed of themselves for allowing it to get to this. Because at the end of the day, like, there's no history of the NHLPA really in recent memory doing the right thing for their players. It's always last minute and hogwash. And from the NHL, it's always, how can we improve the value of our franchises with spending the least amount possible, being the cheapest league on earth? How can we do that? That's what is happening. So if it goes up by $1 million, it just confirms my suspicions.
And we're always going to keep seeing these same trades we've been seeing. Like, I think a big thing, and that's been the issue the last few seasons, is the Arizona Coyotes with the way they've been dealing with these contracts. And it's a trend I think we're going to see, especially when there's only $1 million potentially going up. Because I think right now, just what would you want for the league? Remember before the other CBA, it's the 15-year contracts to circumvent the cap. And it led us to what we are seeing now with, like, a lot of the contracts the Coyotes got, is that there's these contracts that there's just so much money there. And GMs, I guess, are becoming very creative. I like the idea of the broker team, but it's just a weird thing. It's like, it's no other league does this, where they have to, like, pay draft picks to retain salary like that with another team to make the deal happen.
So 2 points here. First off, let's not forget, by the way, the whole thing of escrow and the players owing money, and that's got to hold everything back. And by the way, never forget, guys, the NHL had record revenues last year. If anyone forgot about that. Also, talk about creativity and the thing of three-way trades. Let's also not forget one of the main points of conversation at the GM meetings was the complexity of doing three-way trades and how they needed to improve them.
I've never seen
the irony.
When they were talking about that 32 thoughts, I was legitimately dumbfounded. I'm like, yep. How about, I know this is like crazy. I know, and honestly, this is how I thought it happened. I know I might be crazy. I just imagined when they got on the trade call, all three GMs were involved. Not they do thought. Like, I'm like, why are you guys making it more complicated than it needs to be? Am I missing something? Like,
I wonder if it's like, okay, so it's between the two initial, like, let's say it was the trade, it's the Kane trade. So you've got Chicago, you've got New York, and you got Arizona. Is it first between the Rangers and Chicago? Then it's just Arizona's told, or is it the Rangers and Arizona? And then there's a third call with the Coyotes and Chicago. Like how many calls is this? Know. Like, where is the article? Like, okay, Pierre LeBrun, I need you to do something, my man. Like, yeah. Can we get the exact breakdown of how this works? Like, yeah. Where's the common sense rule here?
Yeah, Pierre, I don't want to hear about that an executive doesn't like the Leafs goaltending. How about you just tell me how these damn three trades?
I don't think the Leafs like the Leafs goaltending.
Like, please.
Remember, with this, Robert Leonard is a Leafs legend.
He is.
Because of the three-way trades.
The Ottawa Senators, from the commissioner, it's a matter of weeks until they are sold. Oh, and by the way, franchise value is going up. Sens might go for close to $1 billion. Great.
Good for them.
But hey, Hospitality revenue escrow and whatnot.
Did he happen to talk about expansion? I'm really curious if someone.
I didn't see anything, but God help me if they go to Atlanta before Quebec City. I may never watch a hockey game ever again.
Can I be honest? Can we not do this? Let's not expand. Like enough. You're not. You're. How many teams are actually profitable in your league? Look at that first before you start adding
like
more
8
franchises. So Forbes used to include that in their valuations, but they've stopped a few years ago for whatever reason. Around COVID, they stopped. The last time they had it, yeah, you're right. There was like 8 teams who weren't profitable. How about let's fix the teams we currently have before we go on a spending spree, or before they start expanding again for no apparent reason. You have almost a third of your league isn't profitable. Injecting $2 billion, because that's what it's going to be in 2 expansion teams, into the league is not going to do anything. It's not going to fix anything. It's my 2 cents.
Switching gears. I struggle to say that. Should really think about hosting podcasts in the future, shouldn't I? Habs and Leafs. We're going to start with the Habs because I steer the ship and I want to talk about the Habs first because I went to the Habs game. Okay. So I just want to put this into perspective. So, went to the Habs game. Went there with my mom. 5 hours drive there, 5 back. There's the dog going nuts. Some of you heard it. They did lose to the Avs. Before the game started, I threw on my Instagram, I'm mentally preparing for Colorado to destroy the boys. To rip the boys apart. It was 4-1 at the end of the first period. Final score 8-4. But do you know what, guys? It was still a fun game. Believe it or not, the only time there were actually boos in this game were towards sections of the arena that were not continuing the wave. The crowd did a very good job of trying to keep everyone engaged, and I'm not going to lie, it was a really fun game. Arturi Lehkonen gets his return, gets a standing O from members of the crowd, myself included. As the first star, I think he had 2 goals. Now he's out for the 6
2 goals and an assist, yeah.
But it was fantastic for him. Obviously, the guy who scored the biggest goal in Habs, or like modern Habs history, the one in our lifetime at least. Saint Jean to remember, always nice to see. But humiliating game overall for the Canadians, we can say. Then they roll over the next game where they play the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, I want to just quickly get something up here. If I just quickly go to Twitter and get my favorite Habs TV Twitter account up, because I love these guys.
I thought there was going to be a Alex Baumgartner tweet because you guys beat the Penguins.
No, but I sent that to him and I'm like, what are you trying to do here? And he's like, you're supposed to like the tweet. And I'm like, I don't want this. I wanted us to win, to lose. So this is a famous quote back in the day. Alex, screen sharing is enabled, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to get something up here quickly as I get a little something up here. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
All right. Let me know if you hear this.
I've noticed.
You heard it? Okay. This is Jeff Petrie talking about being traded to Pittsburgh and the standard there.
Okay.
I've noticed, the standard here is just walking in is higher.
And then the rest of it is actually showing a game against the Canadians where he took 3 interference penalties and they won in overtime. Also had 2 very bad giveaways last night. The Penguins, who have been the most inconsistent team, maybe in the wild card race today. Just wanted to point that out, Jeff. I'm happy the standards are so high.
I mean, you can. Let's be real here. You had Mark Bergevin as a general manager for a decade, who would make the playoffs one year, would be crap for another, and then go. And listen, all due respect to him, don't pretend like the standards in Pittsburgh when you walk in. And I mean, he's your greatest player of all time. He's not mine, but when Sidney Crosby walks in the room, I think the standards are a little bit different than what they were under Mark Bergevin for whatever the hell that was. And
no market in the NHL has a higher standard than Montreal.
But that's not what it's talking.
Yes,
that's not what he's talking about. No, it's not. He said when we walk into the room, when you walk into a room with Sidney Crosby, the hardest worker in the NHL, I will never deny him that. He is the hardest worker in the NHL. You cannot tell me the standard is not higher.
Listen, all I'm going to say to Jeff Petrie is I find it rich talking about standard when a guy wrecked your goalie in front of you and you couldn't even break a sweat about it. You wouldn't even get in his face about it. I just find it rich.
But you
and he
only
played
do
a
that to
great
Jeff
game last night.
Petrie, and no one else did anything when they ran the goalie.
Pizzetta did. The next shift he fought the dude. Michael Pizzetta did.
There's 4 other guys on the ice. Did anyone else do anything?
They got a little closer about it. Petrie was the
they
first
got
man there.
Oh, come on,
This is just the man has a reputation. It is a fact. He has a reputation for being a soft player. He quit on them and he wanted out and he wouldn't admit it. Can't do that in Montreal. Anyway, I didn't want
I think it's rich that we all want players to say stuff, and then as soon as they say stuff, it's become an issue, and it's well, here's the receipt. No, don't
saying
me.
That.
Well, you're throwing it in his face as if it's like a problem. It's like, yeah, walking into Pittsburgh with Sidney Crosby, who's won back-to-back cups, who's played with Mario Lemieux, how many cups does Sidney Crosby have?
I think it's 3. I always forget
Sidney Crosby has 3 Stanley
3,
Cups, has multiple Harts, is the greatest player of his generation, one of the greatest players of all time. I find it hard to believe that the standard is not high. It doesn't matter what he's not talking about. He's clearly talking about what the inside of the locker room is. You cannot tell me that the standards in that locker room are not higher than they were in Montreal.
All I'm trying to say is that I think Jeff Petrie is a very, I just think this is like, be careful throwing stones from your glass house. And I'm not criticizing him for talking. Here's the thing that they always mention this on 32 Thoughts. I'm perfectly okay with players voicing their opinion. However, you cannot voice your opinion without people biting back. But what
are you biting back about? I don't understand. You're biting back
talking about standards. And you have back-to-back turnovers. That's all I'm trying to say here.
You're picking up a clip from October and talking about a game right now.
Yeah.
It's March.
It's March. Yeah.
I don't see how those
Alex,
two are the same.
You know how petty I am.
Okay, so as long as you can admit that it's petty, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't understand it.
It's just Jeff Petrie. I'm done with the dude. It's like talking the Emmy. It's like, 6.5. Great. Happy for you, buddy. Never forget.
I don't think you are, though.
No, of course not. No, that's sarcasm.
Okay.
But beside that, the Canadians wins losing. Colorado was fun game. I do want to mention the Habs do sign Jaden Struble. Pick a couple of years ago. Basically, mean defenseman, good in transition. Interesting. I think he's starting with Laval. Be interesting to see if he does get a game by the end of the year. But very nice. And also in NCAA signing news, Devin Levi is yet to sign. Interesting. The Leafs do sign. Correct. I know I'm not going to say it right. Ryan Sverberg.
Sverberg.
What can you tell me about Ryan Sverberg?
I got you. 7th round pick in 2020.
Yeah. Was invited to World Junior Camp 2 years ago.
And there it is.
He's from Richmond Hill, Ontario.
Yes.
Where did he play? Was it Connecticut?
Yeah, University of Connecticut.
Hey.
They drafted him. Here, I'll tell you everything. I have his hockey DB.
I've been saying Keverberg for like the last 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, you could be right.
That's as good. Yeah. No, that's all I know about Ryan Verberg. I won't lie.
All right. Since we recorded last, there was a game between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Buffalo Sabres. What's this called again? The Battle of the QEW or something?
Yeah.
That's such a bad name. Such a bad name.
Battle of the Q. No,
that is not. Stop it.
The Battle of the W.
So I have some stats that Sportsnet were throwing here because I don't think Alex is going to be eating any spicy ramen for our bet earlier in the year. This is Matt Murray. Again, Sportsnet threw this on the broadcast. Not the Bobcast, the broadcast.
The Bobcast?
Shout out. Does he still do it? Does Bob McKenzie still do this podcast?
So. Oh, he's here and there.
So Matt Murray's first 11 starts, he was 7-2-2, 2.4 goals against, save percentage 924, 30 save games. He had 6 and he had a shutout. I'd like to know what his goal saved above averages were, but I should have looked at that. His last 11 starts. No, it's only 5-5, so this might have been during the game because there's no 11th stat here. 5-5, 3.4 GAA, 877 save percentage, 330 save games. That's more a team thing though. No shutouts. I'm pretty safe to say at this point, Samsonov game 1 against Tampa.
Yeah,
man. I think I think it's been the obvious answer, to be honest. Hashtag Team Samsonov, as I've tweeted out like 4 times this season. No, I'm not eating spicy. I made the bet for a reason.
bet on yourself.
I bet against Matt Murray, which
okay,
I feel bad doing, but I don't at the same time.
You have to pick a side.
Pardon?
You have to pick a side, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know what Matt Murray is really good at? Being a backup.
He's really good at costing me fantasy points. That's what I want to say.
No, again, this is like Mike betting on the Leafs. That's your fault. You walked in. You guys walked in knowing. It's like rookie mistakes, man. Amateur hour. Come on, you can't be doing this. I'm in second place and I have no Leaf players. I just think that says something.
I mean, I feel like you would take Austin Matthews on your fantasy team.
I don't know.
I mean, come on now. Weren't you hoping, like, not to get second so you wouldn't have to take Matthews?
No, I didn't.
Distinctly remember this.
No, I'm kidding.
Like, I remember even Baldwin was going on about you were probably hoping you were the okay.
No,
I mean, it worked out for you. You got Connor McDavid.
Exactly.
Man, we should have anyway. Anything else in that Buffalo game you want to talk about? Sabres come back. They win. Darlene and Matthews hate each other.
Solid game. Dylan Cousins fantasy points.
Yeah, good.
I mean, I think we can sum this game up real quickly in like 2 sentences. The first period was fine, and then they just collapsed.
It's like an avalanche, just falling down.
But funny enough, that's who they're playing tonight.
And that is where we go from here. What are you looking forward to tonight? They come off a big win due to the Avalanche. They are without your true Luckinen. And did you guys see who is coming into the lineup apparently?
Why can't
Ryan Merkley?
No. Alex Galchenyuk.
Numero 27, number 27.
He's going to score a point. He's going to grab a point.
I saw a brother at the game that I went to. He had the Galchenyuk Habs jersey on. And I thought, man, you're something.
That's ballsy. That's ballsy. No, I mean, like, I expect a much better game. To be honest, I think it's that simple. I just expect a much better game than they did last time. I don't really care where Colorado are in the standings.
Yeah.
They're still a really good team.
Yeah, boy, am I not eating crow, by the way.
Why? What did you say?
Right after the deadline, me saying they're not repeating from Lars Eller, the trade to Lars Eller originally from Kadri, and then then they kick my team's ass 8-4 with me in the building.
Yeah. No, I mean, like that's it. Expect a better game. I think people are talking way too much about this 11-7 stuff right now. I think it's so unnecessary. Like, yes, fine. It's not fantastic, and I probably don't prefer it, but I don't think we need to be yelling about it right now. Like, calm down. There is like 18 games left in the regular season. Your spot is pretty much solidified. As long as here's the way I look at it. As long as you're not having collapses like you did the other night, what am I supposed to complain about?
Gentlemen, to finish off, I want to look at the wild card race.
Okay.
I thought last episode it was set, at least in the West. Oh man, the Jets are falling apart, man. Okay, so all of a sudden,
they're flying south.
Like before we even get those are the Ducks.
Okay.
So before we even get to the East, and man, the Ottawa Senators. So Colorado are back in the divisional spot. And to be honest, they're within striking distance to maybe catch Dallas for the divisional spot. However, also I should mention Edmonton have now made their way into a divisional spot. Seattle still have a game in hand, but whatever. I think it's going to be one of those two. Who cares? Here's the big story. Second wild card spot is what the battle is right now. And it's actually kind of close. I shouldn't say Seattle are really for sure there, because here's how it's going right now in the wild card. Seattle, 81 points, 67 games played. 2 points behind them, 1 game less played, is the Winnipeg Jets. Nashville are 4 points back of Winnipeg with 3 games in hand. They are a point ahead of Calgary, are Nashville. Nashville have 3 games in hand over Calgary, so their math has gotten even worse. But all of a sudden, Nashville have opened the door for themselves, and Seattle and Winnipeg are all of a sudden a bit of a question mark right now. I didn't realize what has happened in Seattle. They're kind of mid.
Regressing?
So, okay, it's funny you say that. I've been meaning to mention this for a couple months now. Not maybe like a month or two. Somebody mentioned somewhere, it may have been 32 Thoughts, that apparently their team shooting percentage was the best in the league. Like, historically good. So I was wondering about that, because that obviously, look what happened to St. Louis last year, great shooting percentage, and now they are 5th in the division. But, Alex, last episode you joked, hey, what if Nashville make it? They could. They could, man. It's pretty bad.
And they completely sold at the deadline.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah, man.
How funny would it be if they go on a run? Like, because here's the thing. So they finish second in the second wild card spot, let's say. They'll play Dallas. UC Saros can steal them a couple games. You know what I mean? Like, it's probably out of the realm of possibility that they win a playoff round or two, but it would be to me quite funny if they sold at the deadline, got what they did, and they still make the playoffs. Like, the thing is, even when they sold off at the deadline, it's not like they were gonna go and try and tank. Like, it wasn't gonna happen. I think they're way too far out of it. But to win a couple rounds, boost up the value of some of those players that they want to get rid of, and then everyone's gone. They're an interesting organization.
They'll quit in Nashville.
I think we need to start giving crap to Winnipeg too.
Yeah, well, we thought they were going to be better, and then they weren't.
I didn't think they were going to be good like this year. Then they just blew everyone's socks off. But here's what I really wonder: is it an organizational standard to not want to play Nick Ehlers a lot of minutes?
I think he's injured.
Oh, is he? I saw Don Decision's tweet. Like, he was like playing more than 17 minutes. Is he hurting? I know he was hurt earlier in the year. Is he out again?
Let me double check.
Thank you. But like, what's going on there? It's really funny when you look at the goal differentials, by the way. So this is maybe a sign that it's not Connor Hellebuyck's fault, which I don't think anyone would say it is. But Nashville right behind Winnipeg, a -2 goal differential. Winnipeg +18. Calgary a +1, and man, the Flames. It's just so sad to watch what's happening there.
Sorry, I am incredibly wrong. He has been back for some time. He was injured at the beginning of the year. That's what it was. He missed like 3 months. He missed October to January.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's only played 32 games. 32 games, yeah. And he's played 15 minutes.
That's awful. How do you can't play Ehlers 15, 16 minutes when he's got 28 points in those 32 games? Like, has this not been the story there for years? Do they hate Finnish players? Like, where is Billy? You know who I have not heard his name once this year? Where in the world is Ville Heinola? That's a difficult.
It's like yo-yoed, right? From like
legit, where is he?
I think he's in the AHL.
Yeah.
This season, he's played 34 AHL games, 27 games in them, 10 games in Winnipeg, only an assist in them. Do the Winnipeg Jets hate Finland? Because they have problems keeping players, right? We know that.
Yeah.
If one country would sort of, one member of Europe would be kind of cool with a place in Winnipeg and the weather there, you think The
Maybe
Finns.
Finland's, yeah.
But they've just banished them. What's happening?
And like that's a good point. And they added at the deadline. Like, yeah, they didn't go all in, and they never were gonna go all in. Like we it's just that's just the way they do things. They don't go all in. So
What did they? Sorry, just remind me. What moves did they make at the deadline again?
Niederreiter and
Yeah.
there
I
was one
liked
more
that
guy.
move.
There's one more guy I can't remember off the top of my head. Why can't I remember? Oh my god.
Why Alex is looking that up? Daniel.
Mhm.
Nemestikov.
Oh God,
yeah.
yeah.
Nemestikov.
God, poor
From
guy.
Tampa, yeah.
Hasn't he like tied the record for being traded the most times at the deadline or something?
I think so, yeah.
Who's got to be up there with maybe him like Stepniak and like
Thomas
Vanek?
Vanek. Oh yeah, Thomas Vanek.
Yeah.
Dmitry Kulikov.
Yeah, that's a good one. He's got to be up there too. Or maybe it was Kulikov I was thinking of. Anyway, anything else to say on the West before we go to the East, gentlemen?
It's a wild, wild west.
Hey,
That
let's
might just be
go.
the name of the show.
Yeah, man, why not? And then we go to the Eastern Conference. Here's how it's looking. Yeah, the divisional spots haven't changed. Yeah, very good. And now the Hurricanes are only 9 points back of the Bruins. Wow, maybe they can catch them.
Because
Maybe.
the Bruins are tired. Yeah.
Man, stop.
So here's how it's sort of shaping up. So right now, if we look at it, the Penguins and the Panthers have played the same amount of games. Pittsburgh are first wild card. They are 5 points ahead of the Florida Panthers. So the last night, Pittsburgh losing to Montreal was huge, but right now the math is very not in Florida's favor compared to Pittsburgh. However, they are 3 points back of the Islanders, 2 games in hand. The Buffalo Sabres are 3 points back of the Islanders, 5 games in hand. It's not looking great for Buffalo. It's really not looking great for Buffalo.
3 games in hand. 3 games in hand.
Sorry, no.
You said
3 games in hand, so 6 points. They have to win all of those just to catch the Islanders, saying nothing for what happens with Florida. Washington are 5 points back, only a game in hand of the Islanders. It's not looking likely there. Now, this one hurts, because last episode I hitched my trailer to the Ottawa Senators. 2 games in hand on the Islanders, 6 points back. That hurts. That hurts a lot.
Are we going to enter the summer, and are they going to finally have the discussion about DJ Smith, or like?
I mean, what more can Dorian do? I think he's done everything he can. You can talk about goaltending, I know, but Matt Sogard, I don't think was awful against the Oilers last night. I actually watched the game. It was fun. McDavid was disgusting, as he always is. But I think besides that, like, I don't know what else can the GM do for you. He's delivered a star-studded roster, got the defenseman you needed, young talent up the wazoo. Do you give the excuse that they missed their number 1 center for the whole year, or number 2 center because Stutz was, Josh Norris? I mean, so your number 2 center, a very important player. I don't know, but if he survives this season, and if Ottawa have a cold start next year, then I don't see how in the world he gets past that. But I don't. It is very difficult to see how DJ Smith is around at the end of this, because I don't know. I just don't know what you do unless, again, you go the injury excuse.
Well, I think it depends, like, next year on where Ottawa expects itself to be. I think it's going to matter on where they finish this year and really where they see themselves in the retool, the rebuild, whatever you want to call it, in the maybe are we finally reaching a contending window? So I think it's going to really depend on that.
Over. The rebuild's
okay,
over.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I remember that
Rebuild's
mentioned. Yes.
So
even
I think
without
we know
that quote,
stand.
like, they went and got to Brinkat, like
Giroux,
Chikrin. Like, if we want to ask where they think they are, they want to be in there, man.
The thing with, like, Adam, you brought up, if they have a slow start next year, they're going to fire him. I think you already have to know at that point. Like, Alex DeBrincat's having a down year. Just a fact. why is he having a down year? Someone's got to ask the question why he's having a down year. It's not like I don't know. I don't think he was dependent on Patrick Kane. I don't think that was the case, to be honest. So why is he having a down year? I think if you walk into next year and then fire him in November, that's just not helpful to you. You're going to bring in a new coach who's probably going to play a different way, would be my guess. It's similar to, I'm going to make it about the Leafs, but I think it's a pretty good example. It's similar to what the Leafs did in allowing Babcock to come back after losing to Boston and playing Patrick Marleau in the last 2 minutes of an elimination game, and then fire him in November because they had a bad start. I think you have to make the decision this offseason. You can't do it in the middle of a season, especially in a season where, spot on, they want to be in the middle of it. It's gonna be a difficult season for them for the rest of the way based on past experiences.
I don't mean to end and rush the show like this, but I do want to ask, because I think we're going to keep ending every episode with the wild card race as we go. So I do have to then ask, East and West. We'll start with the West, and I'll start with Daniel, then Alex. Who are you? That doesn't make sense, Adam. Who are your picks to make the playoffs in the wild card? And let's say, for the sake of it, no, go ahead. I won't try and I won't lead you anywhere. Who makes it?
Sorry. In the West.
Yeah, wild card race.
Ooh, that's gonna be a tough one.
If you want to say either Edmonton or Colorado fall to the wild card too, you can. But yeah.
I'm still okay. I'll stay. I think what Alex said last time about Seattle was like, not like they regret. I think it's like they've just returned to normal. I think they were really playing above the talent they have, at least right now. So I think they are going to be the number one wild card, and number two, I'm probably going to go with Nashville. To be honest, like I think I've been convinced that there's no quit with them. That they're still going to keep playing as they are, and despite selling, they still have a lot of good key pieces there. Do you want me to go to my East now?
No, let's do Alex and I'll
Okay.
get mine.
So I'll stay with Seattle for the first one. I mean, Daniel, you pretty much repeated what I said before, so whatever Daniel said. For the second one, I'm gonna stick with Winnipeg. I think they'll hold that second spot. I just think they have the goaltending to do it. We've seen at points this season that they can step up their game. And I think, and I hope under Rick Bowness, they can do the same. I mean, look at what he had done in Dallas. I think he can give the players a good kick up the butt.
Okay. I am going to go. I'll say that Edmonton, LA, Vegas, Minnesota, Dallas, Colorado make it. I like that. I'm going to say Winnipeg miss because I hate Mark Scheifele. And I hold grudges. Jeff Petrie, hello. I'll say Seattle. I suck. Seattle are going to make it just because I want them in the playoffs. I just think it's cool. I want to watch more games at that. Like I just like looking at that arena. I really, really want to go there one day. Like I really, really do. And so I think I'm gonna have to go Nashville, Seattle, just because I don't want Mike Scheifele in, and the Flames are frauds. Like gotta hit the Flames. Okay, going to the East, we'll look at the wild card race. If any of you move the Rangers, Tampa, Toronto, Boston, New York, Rangers. If any of you move those six, I feel like we have to be removed from the podcast. Mm-hmm. Okay, wild card race, Alex, Daniel.
I'm gonna go with. Damn, this is a tough one because I never want to count out Pittsburgh, right? I don't know. My gut is telling me honestly, my gut is telling me Islanders Buffalo. Like I want like the Islanders
Wow.
again. Goaltending can steal you many, many, many games, and I think the Islanders have that. And I mean, just watching Buffalo play the other night, they are a big team that is just a pain in the ass to play against, and I think that's their advantage coming down the stretch. Like I'm not particularly like enthused by their goaltending, but I think it could be good enough to squeak them in the second wild card spot.
I am gonna go with Pittsburgh as well. I think they looked a lot better this stretch. I think when we talked about their loss to the Habs, I think that's just reminiscent of the season they've had. It's been a weird up and down season for them. They're not as consistent as they used to be. So I'm still gonna choose them for the wild card. It's funny because I flipped it last time. I said Ottawa and Buffalo, but I'm not gonna go to Ottawa this time. I'm gonna still stick with Buffalo. I still think they have a lot of fight in them as well. To reminiscent of the Nashville thing, where they're not the deepest in terms of experience, especially if they're goaltending, but I do believe they have that fight in them that will get them at least into the playoffs.
I can't say Ottawa anymore because they dropped the ball. I was hoping if they could get some points, get in the race before the rest of their very difficult schedule, it was going to help, but no. So I'm not going to do them. There's something about the Islanders, man, that they just don't go away. But I'm not going. I'm going to continue to bet against the New York Islanders because I want to add some zest to the podcast. I refuse to count out Sidney Crosby. Will never do it in my life, and I just think the math is too much for Buffalo right now. You know what? I think before Sunday, I'm gonna have a real look at all the schedules just so we can maybe try and be smart about projections and that. But don't count on it. And I'm gonna say the Islanders miss. I'm gonna say the Panthers get in, just to make it kind of interesting. And then yeah,
So the Penguins and the Panthers.
the Penguins and the Panthers. I like the animals,
All right.
not Buffaloes though. Okay, so yeah, that's everything.
Right.
Next time you see us, we will be doing the wild card roundup.
Yes.
I think we can call
Also,
it.
remember,
What?
it is the 300th episode.
It is.
Next
the
episode
podcast.
or
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
like the official one because we had a lot of bizarre adventures. And
yes,
everything,
yes,
but
yes,
the
fine.
300th of the regular programming.
And it's unfortunate. It's just gonna be you two.
Uh,
Can you be like
oh.
reporting live? No,
sure.
Pardon?
just come in like for 5 minutes. No.
I think I'd be on my way home.
Oh, okay.
That's
Okay.
the issue. I don't know.
Oh, we'll
what
do
the
a phone in.
schedule
Like, oh yeah,
is.
we have Alex on the line. He's on his way back. Yeah.
Do me one favor, Alex.
Yeah.
On Sunday or after Saturday's games wrap up, text me
Yeah.
your wild cards.
Okay. So I'll do that Sunday morning.
Okay. How loud is that?
We didn't hear a
Oh,
single
I was
thing.
banging a stick on my desk.
Oh,
No, I didn't hear
but,
anything.
Why do you have a stick?
Oh, sorry, it's a highlight.
Oh, okay. Like you took it out of the backyard.
Maybe.
Maybe
Man, I got 3 dogs. They come in with stuff
that's
all the
true.
time. It's wild. Shout out Fat Tupson. Those little legs. Okay, that's everything from us. Thank you for listening. Check us out, podcast, wherever you listen to. I don't know why I say that, because if you're listening to the podcast, then you already have a platform. Especially the YouTube, TikTok, even though it may not be legal to use in a couple of years. Who knows? Check out, especially on the YouTube, I like YouTube. Leave reviews and such. Is that everything?
Yeah.
What are your favorite Pokemons?
Oh,
We're not ending the episode until you answer.
I'm gonna go with Pikachu.
Cop out.
Wobbuffet.
Okay, that's fair. All right. Goodbye.
Bye.